sprinkles, Santa Claus's special elf. Because everything is special with sprinkles. Santa Claus knows you're special too, and he has something to say to you. So listen close as Santa Claus shares holiday cheer with you. You can leave a special message for Santa Claus and get on the nice list at www.santaclaussays.net. Now here is the big man himself, Santa Claus!
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas to all the boys and girls, the children of all ages all around the world. Santa Claus says, be good for goodness sakes. And we welcome you to our show here today, which is SantaClausSays.net. Santa Claus says to be good for goodness sakes, and you can reach out to me at SantaClausSays.net, our website, and you can leave me a message. You can leave it through voicemail, or you can leave it through an email, or you can leave it through a text message and tell me what your wishes are here for Christmas here of 2024. We have three things that we do here at SantaClausSays.net, and that is we bring good cheer. And our pal Sprinkles helps us to do that, and we tell some funny jokes. And then we also tell a Christmas story. We've been reading the story of the little town of Bo Peep. We're going to finish that story here today. Then we read a letter to Santa. Story, and then also to have share a wonderful Christmas story, and then to have letters to Santa. So that's what we do here at Santa Claus Says, and we are proud and happy to do just that. So, the Glockenspiel means it's time for our joke of the day, and so let's talk about a couple of jokes here that we can have that will be a little bit of fun. Which of Santa's friends is the most chill? Jack Frost, of course. What did Mrs. Claus say to Santa as she looked up at the sky? Looks like reindeer. Well, that's wonderful. Well, that means Glockenspiel means it's time for our story time for the day, boys and girls. And we're continuing a story that we began about the town of Little Bo Peep. And in the story, as we began it yesterday, the Santa's elves go to this town and they found out there was something strange going on. There was a candy shop and there was a sign up that said no candy sold here. And so let's begin to pick up the story where we left off there, and we will talk about this little town that was so strange to Santa Claus's elves. No candy sold here, said the sign in the store shelf, and the elves looked at one another. Sweet Tooth's face was horrified. He couldn't speak. He managed to peep under the window shade, but all the window held was a dismal row of empty glass jars. It must be that there are no children in this town, said Silver Tongue in a low voice. And Kind Heart and Sweet Tooth could only nod their heads in reply. A few steps beyond the candy shop, they came upon another little store. Toy Shop was painted on the window. But there too the blinds were down and the door locked fast, and thick dust covered the doorstep and the window ledge. Kindheart stood tiptoe and read a card tacked on the door. No toys sold here. What can be the matter? Whispered the elves. Who ever heard of a town where no children lived? Down on the beach crept the elves, and there were strange signs were sprinkled as thick as blackberries wherever they might look. Along the beach it said, no paddling on this beach, said a bright blue sign stuck in the sand and stuck there. The elves read this aloud, and tears came into gentle Kind Heart's eyes. I never saw a better beach for paddling, said he, wiping away his tears with the back of his hand. Listen to this, cried Silver Tongue, standing before a scarlet sign that was repeated along the shore. No sand building allowed, read the scarlet sign with great black letters that all could see. "What about this?" called Sweet Tooth, capering before a green sign over which he had stubbed his toe. "No digging on this beach." That is what the sign says, but I can't believe it. I'm going straight through the town until I see what they have done with the children here. The elves did not have to go far to find the children. A stone's throw from the beach stood the schoolhouse, a dingy red brick building with a tall iron fence all around it. Under the fence squeezed the elves. They wanted to read a great golden sign over the schoolhouse door. "This school opened from 9 o'clock until 6 o'clock." Sweet Tooth read the sign aloud and would have tumbled to the ground in his surprise if Silver Tongue and Kindheart had not caught him by the arm. "That means all day," gasped Sweet Tooth. "They have to go to school all day." Through the schoolhouse window, they could see the heads of the children, little brown and yellow and black heads, black, both curly and straight. Indeed, one little red head lay on the windowsill, fast asleep. "Tired out, and no wonder," murmured Silver Tongue, which was a very harsh speech for him. Out of the window floated the voices of the children, droning sleepily over and over again. 2 times 1 are 2. 2 times 2 are 4. 2 times 3 are 6. The elves didn't speak to one word that afternoon. They sat down around the corner of the schoolhouse with their backs against the wall, and watched the clock on the church tower tick the sunny hours away. At last the clock struck 6. Boom, 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 boom. The schoolhouse door opened, and out trooped the children as they started home. The elves followed and watched them as they went. Some of them peeped into the toy shop window and rattled the latch. Some of them stood on tiptoe and knocked on the knocker at the candy shop's door. Some of them ran away from their big brothers and sisters and sat on the beach and made holes in the sand with their fingers and piled up little heaps. And some of the children even ran down and put their toes in the water, but they did so want a little pleasure and fun. But their big brothers and sisters were frightened. "The king will see you," they said. "Come home. The king will catch you." So the children were taken home. And soon after supper, the candles were lighted in their bedrooms, and the elves could see the children in their nightgowns going to bed. As it grew dusk, the elves sat flatly on the lonely beach with no one but the sandpipers and seagulls to keep them company. What did it all mean? Who was the king? Why were the children treated so? Set the pause on this story, boys and girls. We'll come back to it on the next episode of Santa Claus Says, so you do not want to miss that episode, do you? Well, there's the glockenspiel, which means it is time for our letters to Santa. I want to remind you that every one of you can send a letter to Santa by simply going to our website, SantaClausSays.net, and that is where you can find out about our YouTube show, which is at youtube.com/Santa Claus Says. Every night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time from now until Christmas, we're here so you can enjoy Santa Claus Says. And then also we are on a podcast on Apple Podcasts and other podcast places to have that. So, and certainly you can listen to the podcast also on the website, SantaClausSays.net. But I want you to call your attention to SantaClausSays.net. That's where you can leave us a email, or you can leave us a message via text message, or you can even leave us a voice message. And I hope that you do, because I respond to every message, because Santa Claus listens and loves you. Today, our message that we have, our letter, a text message today is from Miracle, is the child's name. It says, "Hi Santa, this year for Christmas I would like a racing hoodie. My name is Miracle." I want to say, Miracle, that is a wonderful thing to ask for, a racing hoodie, and we'll see what we can do. Santa is full of surprises, you know. But I want to say that what a wonderful name you have of Miracle. There's no greater miracle than the miracle of Christmas. Christmas is all about good cheer and about sharing stories and time with family. It's about reading great stories like we've been reading here today. And I want to remind you that On December 24th, on Christmas Eve, we will read the great story The Night Before Christmas. And all through the house, all the creatures were stirring, not even a mouse. We'll read that story as a special episode of Santa Claus Says. Then on Christmas Day, December 25th, we will read the first Christmas story from the Bible about the birth of Jesus. So I want to thank you, Miracle, for sending your letter here today, and so we can read that and enjoy that. And all of you other children of the world, please send me your letters or your voicemails or your emails to SantaClausSays.net, and I will see them. I'll read them, and make sure that you are on the nice list and not on the naughty list this year. Well, boys and girls, that's the Glockenspiel, which means it's just about time for us to say goodbye here on Santa Claus Says. We want you to know that we love you and we're with you, and we're here to give you just a wonderful Christmas season. Remember, we do 3 things here at Santa Claus Says. We spread Christmas cheer, we read a great story about Christmas, and we read a letter to Santa. So we hope that you will be a part of that. Join us next time here on Santa Claus Says at SantaClausSays.net, and also on YouTube every evening at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. You can go to youtube.com/Santa Claus Says. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a joyous time. And remember, Santa Claus says to be good for goodness sakes.